Hi, this is Quirky Critic, and without wasting time, let's get into the video. Let's talk about Star Trek boldly going where plenty of jokes have gone before. Star Trek 2009, or as I like to call it, Space, the Silliest Frontier, is a reboot that takes the iconic franchise and gives it a glossy, action-packed, and often unintentionally hilarious makeover. Directed by J.J. Abrams, this film attempts to bring a new generation into the fold with lens flares, high-octane sequences, and a cast of characters who look like they just walked out of a sci-fi themed Abercrombie & Fitch catalog. Let's start with our leading man, James T. Kirk, played by Chris Pine. This version of Kirk is a reckless, cocky rebel with a grin that says, "I'm here to save the galaxy and flirt with anything that moves." Pine's Kirk is the embodiment of every action hero cliché, complete with a tragic backstory and a knack for getting into trouble. His journey from rebellious cadet to starship captain is as predictable as it is entertaining. Watching Kirk bumble his way to the captain's chair is like watching a frat boy accidentally stumble into a leadership seminar. Then there's Spock, played by Zachary Quinto, who's trying so hard to be logical and emotionless that he sometimes forgets he's in a blockbuster movie and not a Vulcan book club. Quinto's Spock is the straight man to Pine's wild card, making their dynamic feel like a cosmic buddy cop comedy. The scenes where Spock struggles to suppress his emotions while Kirk is busy breaking every rule in the book are comedic gold. It's like watching a strict school teacher try to manage the class clown. The plot, if you can call it that, involves time travel, vengeful Romulans, and a black hole that conveniently solves a lot of problems. Trying to follow the story is like trying to decipher a star map with coffee stains all over it. Eric Bana's villainous Nero is a Romulan with a grudge and a lot of tattoos. His plan to destroy planets with a gigantic drill is so over the top you half expect him to start twirling a mustache. Nero's motivation is about as clear as a Klingon's conscience, and honestly, his angry outbursts are more laughable than menacing. The rest of the crew of the USS Enterprise is a mix of familiar faces and fresh interpretations. Uhura, played by Zoe Saldana, is smart, capable, and stuck in a love triangle that's more awkward than a Vulcan mating ritual. Her relationship with Spock feels forced and is more about checking boxes than actual chemistry. Carl Urban's Dr. McCoy, or Bones, delivers his lines with such exasperation that you'd think he's been treating space flu for decades. His constant grumbling and colorful metaphors provide a steady stream of laughs. Simon Pegg's Scotty is the comic relief, with his frantic energy and thick Scottish accent that make every scene he's in a highlight. Watching Scotty try to keep the Enterprise running while Kirk and Spock bicker is like watching a chef try to cook while the kitchen's on fire. John Cho's Sulu gets a few moments to shine, especially when he whips out a sword for a completely unnecessary but awesome fight scene. Anton Yelchin's Chekhov, with his endearing accent and youthful enthusiasm, rounds out the crew with a mix of charm and naivety. The special effects are a double-edged phaser. On one hand, the space battles and planetary destruction are visually spectacular. On the other hand, the relentless use of lens flares makes you wonder if the Enterprise has a disco ball installed on the bridge. Every scene is so shiny and bright that you might need sunglasses to watch the movie. The dialogue is a mix of techno-babble, inspirational speeches, and cheesy one-liners. Kirk's attempts at seduction are so cringeworthy that you can't help but laugh, while Spock's deadpan delivery turns even the most mundane lines into comedic gems. The film's attempts to inject humor often result in unintentionally funny moments, like when Kirk's hands swell up after a botched medical procedure or when Scotty gets stuck in a water pipe. The action sequences are a roller coaster of absurdity. From skydiving onto a drilling platform to fistfights on ice planets, the film throws logic out the airlock in favor of adrenaline-pumping stunts. The final showdown inside the Romulan ship is a chaotic mess of explosions, phaser fire, and dramatic declarations. It's like watching a space-themed episode of American Ninja Warrior with extra explosions. Despite all its quirks and unintentional hilarity, Star Trek 2009 is a fun and entertaining film. It's a reminder that science fiction doesn't always have to make sense, it just has to be a good time. So grab your popcorn, set your phasers to stun, and prepare to be whisked away on a wild ride through the galaxy with a crew that's as dysfunctional as they are heroic. After all, in the immortal words of Captain Kirk, I'm giving her all she's got, Captain, and what she's got is a whole lot of laughs. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Quirky Critic signing out.